Hey, everybody. Welcome to our regular Friday get together with What's New and Coming Up with Lipedema. I'm Leslyn. I am the president of the board of directors and director of research for the Lipedema Project. And I'm here with my friends and colleagues, one of whom seems to be frozen. So we'll go over to Gail first. Gail, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I was going to say, if Siobhan isn't frozen, that was one long drink.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Gail Straker. I'm the community manager for Lipedema Simplified, and I love coming and seeing all of you guys here. It was my lovely cohorts, or whatever we call these people, sisters
Partners in crime, sisters in crime. There we go. Let's go.
It's good to see you all.
Siobhan, introduce yourself.
I'm Siobhan. I'm the research specialist with the Lipedema Project. I read stuff, I do experiments, I undo experiments, and I talk about it.
Yeah, very good synopsis. So we like to get together with you every Friday at this time, which Eastern time, it's 4:30 p.m. It's 1:30 for me in Pacific time, and then a different time for Gail and Siobhan. I think you're both in Mountain time.
Right.
So it's like 2:30 p.m. And we're not even going to try to say what it is in Australia, because I think it is the next morning. So, but we'd love to hear from you. If you're listening to us live, like Marilee just did, she said hi from the sunny Pacific Northwest. So she's on Pacific time with me. But we'd love to have you post in there and say where you are in the world. Maybe what the weather's doing like there. Here in like Marilee, I'm also sunny here. It is 76 degrees Fahrenheit here in Southern California. Gail's giving me expression like that's not what it is in Idaho. What do you got going?
So I'm doing a weather check right now. It's 40. But the clouds are high. And so the sun's sneaking underneath it, and we are really hoping that our snow doesn't melt up on the mountain. So because the mountain's just right there, so we're really hoping that we have a nice ski season.
Yeah, very good. How about you, Siobhan? What's it doing like in the Denver, Colorado area?
Cold enough to wear a cardigan. Not sure other than that.
Yeah, just it could be quite cool, and yet Siobhan just wants to put on a light sweater. That's so.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
If it drops below 70, I'm getting out the sweater. So.
Well, I mean, for me, like, I haven't turned the heat on yet, and I have the window open perpetually. So
okay, yes, and that is good that your husband is in Sweden. That's where he lives right now, and so he is very adapted to the cold weather as well.
No, he'd be complaining.
Yes,
he doesn't live there, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. And Winetta is in Anchorage, Alaska, and 12 degrees Fahrenheit. And 60 inches of snowfall so far this year. Dana says hi, don't know where she is. Caprice is from Indiana, and Karen in Michigan. So welcome all of you. Thanks for posting. It's 51 degrees in Chehalis, Washington, where Marilee is. It's a very, very nice area of Washington. I love going through there. So we have a couple of announcements that we want to let you know about, but then we decided on a topic of discussion that I hope will be meaningful to all of you. It's apropos to this time of year. But first, just a couple of announcements. And so the first thing I think we want to talk about is our town hall, which is a recap of what we've done in 2023 and where we're going in 2024. It's been rescheduled. It was going to be before the end of the year, but now it's going to be on January 4th. So save the date, January 4th, 6 p.m. Eastern. And Gail, want to say anything about what we're planning for the town hall?
Well, every year people have these debriefs, these wrap ups, what was so special about 2023 kind of thing. And so we're letting 2023 finish up, and then we're going to come in and we're going to talk about all the amazing things that we have been doing. Lipedema Simplified, Lipedema Project, all of the, I mean, we've had some pretty amazing things happen this year with the Lipedema World Congress and just everything that we've done. And so we're going to be discussing that. We're going to have a bit of a Q&A going on with that. And we're probably going to be showing you what's going to be coming up in 2024. And so you're going to be surprised. You show up to this thing and you're going to go, oh my word, these people have been busy and I've been the beneficiary of all of those wonderful things.
Mhm.
And so we really do have 2023 has been, because it's still going on, spectacular. I was totally shocked when I was looking at all the things we've been doing.
Yes. Yeah. When you start listing everything, it's pretty astounding. So please join us. I guess right now it's just to save the date, or do we have a link yet to register for that, Gail?
That I am not sure of.
Okay, so right now, save the date, and as soon as we have that link, you will be given that and register for it. I do believe, will there be a recording or a replay of this if people are not able to be there at that time?
Yes. So all of our outward facing free events, we do a free replay. That was hard to say. And what we usually do is after everything wraps up, it goes to the editor. The editor makes sure it's got this nice little package, and then you get the link. So it takes a couple of days, up to a week, and then you can watch it. But you do not get that link unless you register. So be watching your emails. Keep coming here. When we get that link, we will have it posted for you, and you'll see the link in all of our notifications and all that stuff. You'll see that as soon as we get the link up.
So just to reiterate, because I've had people talk to me after the fact when they did not register and were not able to attend a particular free webinar because they knew they were busy at that date and that time. You will not get the replay unless you register. So even if you are not available, please register, and then you will get that replay. And like Gail says, I think you're going to be surprised. It's going to be some astounding stuff that you will see in that webinar. And then after that, we have a rather big thing that we're planning the first weekend of February is going to be a in-person workshop for lymphatic professionals, basically, for them to get certified in the Perrin technique by Dr. Perrin, who is an osteopath from Manchester, UK. He's going to be coming to Boston the first weekend of February. And so it's a limited space because he can only certify so many people at the same time. So, and it is filling up. And so we wanted to alert you to let anybody in your life who is involved with lymphatics and maybe you're certified lymphedema or lymphatic therapist who's working on you, make sure they know about this workshop and can get certified. We will be having a free webinar for people interested in the workshop to find out more about it. If you need more information that is on the website, you can go, your certified lymphatic therapist can go to that free webinar to find out more, to see if they want to sign up and be there for that. I know, Siobhan, you have urged your therapist to attend the certification.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wanted to do that because it seemed like she was interested in the head and neck and central lymphatics anyway. I'm sure she uses some of that stuff with her other clients. And she was also intrigued because she mentioned she hadn't really thought of it before with lipedema, but then once we started working on that, she was surprised by how much fluid buildup there actually was in my head and neck. So it's like, I need to go talk to my other clients now and see if this is also happening. And I already knew for me, I kind of suspected that that was happening just because other stuff that I've experienced. But, and she also works really hard to be like on top of everything and know as much as humanly possible. So I think it's a really good opportunity, especially if there's any possibility that any of their clients may need assistance beyond just the legs.
Yeah, yeah. So we specifically got interested in this because of what we feel like it has an impact on the central lymphatics and helping with decongesting the upper body, the head, neck, and the upper body. And so that's what got us interested. But the technique is actually developed specifically to address chronic fatigue syndrome and other conditions that have a lot of fatigue associated with them. And so even if your professional, the person who works with you does not, they're not someone who's going to be working with you for your lymphedema, it's still something that I think is going to be wonderful for any practice because of its impact on chronic fatigue. Lipedema often has a lot of fatigue associated with it. So I think this is going to be, regardless if you do anything with central lymphatics, this is going to be a remarkable workshop for dealing with fatigue. So check out.
And I think it's worth highlighting, Leslyn, that this isn't aimed at lipedema specifically, but we're exploring it for that reason because there does seem to be a little bit of symptom overlap with what this has been tested to work on versus what people with lipedema are experiencing. So it is experimental. I'm playing with it because I like experiments. But there's no guarantee that it'll help everyone. Maybe we'll further into it and it's only a subset. But if you do suspect that, or if you just want to encourage your practitioner to just learn more, that's more what we're talking about.
Yes, yes. Well put. So did I miss any other announcements, Gail?
I don't think so, Leslyn.
I think that's all of it. So what we really wanted to talk about today, because of the time of year it is, we've just been through one holiday in the US anyhow, which was Thanksgiving. And then we're fast approaching, well, I think this is already the time of year for Hanukkah and Christmas is coming up. So there's lots of family gets-togethers, getting together with friends and loved ones for holiday stuff. And then I think, Gail, you were also just thinking about putting this in the context of celebrations in general, may not necessarily be holiday celebrations, but wanted to talk about celebrations in general. And do you want to lead us in that discussion, Gail?
Sure. So, I was thinking, oh, we've got to have a topic that's not just based on, hey, we've got this coming up and this coming up, but what is coming up for us as individuals? And I thought, we have celebrations coming up. And sometimes with these celebrations, they're stressful, right? So I thought, hey, why don't we think of sorry, the door shut. Why don't we think of ways that we can look at celebrations as not stressful? What type of celebration can we do for ourselves that is self-care? What type of celebration can we do for ourselves that is joyous? And so I would love the audience, our listeners, to kind of talk about what they do that's a tiny little celebration. I know that when I do these teeny tiny little celebrations, I love it. For example, I decided to get a new sticker for my water bottle. You know? See what it says? It says Doug the Pug, right? So now, do I have a pug? No, I've got Doxies. But Doug the Pug, and I got a new sticker for my water bottle. And every time I look at it, it makes me happy. Now, there's another sticker on there that my granddaughter decided that needed to be on there because she watches zombies too, and that came from her little sticker package, right? So I thought that's a teeny tiny little celebration, and it keeps me going. Another thing is I wear the same necklace over and over and over again, and so the other day I thought, I think I'm going to have a little celebration and change my necklace out so that now every time I look at myself in the mirror or I put my hand toward my neck, I'm like, oh, that's one of my favorite beads on that necklace. Those are teeny tiny little celebrations. And so I would love if our audience would put a celebration that maybe they do that just sparks them up. But before they do that, I really want them to celebrate us with us by giving us some love. You guys, we've got 12 people on here. We only got 2 thumbs up.
Send some hearts. Send some hearts.
You guys got it. And then I want you to celebrate by sharing this video. And I want you to celebrate by following us or subscribing to us or viewing us on a different channel or, celebrate us. Come on, you guys.
Also, Gail,
yes.
I actually got a new sticker recently too. You can see it right here.
Oh, what does it say?
It says, "Tallow be thy name."
Tallow be.
Which is funny because I actually just bought a big, 2-pound container of tallow.
That's cool. That's
very
so
good. Very good.
What about you, Leslyn? What have you done lately to just celebrate and take care of yourself at the same time?
That is a good question. That is a good question. I have to think about that.
Leslyn, have you been neglecting your self-celebration, self-care?
I think I have been because I just, went out of town to do a course in craniosacral therapy, which that is kind of a tiny little bit of self-care, but it also adds to the self-care because, I'm taking care of family at the same time that I'm doing a course. But anytime you do these therapy courses, you're practicing on your classmates. So you get to practice your hand skills, but which means that you also get to have the treatment done to you. And so for at least half of the time in this course, I was getting, stuff, body work done on me, which can be a little bit of self-care stuff to be able to do that. Yeah.
So, and you use dry hand or oil or lotion? What do you use?
This particular one is dry, and just like manual lymph drainage is also done without oils mostly. There is some times when it's not, but this is also done dry, and it is a prerequisite for learning the Perrin technique, which I have been told that the Perrin technique uses a great deal of oil. So which will be a little modification. So, but it was, receiving the treatments over the last 4 days was very nice.
And I'm sure that you've had to get all the calluses and stuff off your hands before you start working on people.
And trim your nails.
Trim your nails. That's self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
So I was going to say that. So celebrate. Find some tiny little thing that will remind you. Oh yeah, I'm special.
Yeah.
As you go through the days.
Yep. Very good. Yep. Siobhan, what have you been doing?
I got the sticker that I mentioned.
Okay.
That's probably the only thing because I've been working a lot.
See, and so all 3 of us need to make sure that we take that time off for that.
However, I will say, I have been making a lot of curry, and I'm actually going to make a cabbage soup, and then what is it called? A Tuscan soup, I think. So it's like Italian sausage and a bunch of other stuff I don't remember.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, Italian sausage. say no more. It sounds wonderful.
Yeah, pretty much. I really like the Boulder sausage brand. It's like minimal ingredient and good quality, and a local company, it has to be. So that's been my thing, is eating good food. Celebrating eating good food.
Lovely.
Yeah. I know, I like that a lot of the things we've been talking about, are celebrating actually not necessarily with food. And usually our celebrations are very much centered around food. And so it's wonderful to have the pleasurable food there, but also realize that celebration can mean other things besides food.
And even
Definitely.
for me, I think I'm going to get so I have a mother's ring with my kids' birthstones in it, right? And I don't know, I caught a baseball or something funny, and I broke it. It's split, and I think I'm going to go get it fixed so I could wear my mother's ring again.
Oh,
These are little things that we can do for ourselves that add joy to our lives every single day, right? And it doesn't take that much. I was another thing I was thinking about is like when you get your hair cut or styled or whatever, maybe get a glaze so it's glossier, or something like that on your hair as you get ready for your holidays. And so take that special care. I got a couple extra long chin hairs. I got those plucked out this morning. I mean, I am all about self-care these days. Cheap, free, whatever. I'm self-caring.
I have to admit, I haven't let anybody else touch my hair in over 10 years.
And so you cut it yourself?
I cut it myself. Currently, I'm growing it out because my husband hasn't seen it in a long time. I was like, fine, if I hate it, I can just chop it off at some point. But when I was a kid, people were always touching my hair because they wanted to like pull on the curls, and it was like invading my personal space. In the hairdresser just so I was like, I don't have to let people touch my hair. I'm not going to.
And that's self-care.
Yeah.
Right? Just setting that boundary, saying people don't have to touch my hair.
Yeah, and Juanetta in the chat, it caught my eye because it said pork, and I was like, oh. Out of the blue, I bought a package of pork ribs with no thought about how I would fix it. I put a dry rub on them, stuck them in the Instapot. Oh my god, so tender and delicious. But ideas other than eating right out of the pot ended up making a modified pozole. I don't know what that is actually, and have eaten every day since. Pozole, okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it has a Z in it, so that probably means it tastes good.
Yeah, very good.
Nice.
Well done, Juanetta.
Yeah, and the Instapot is perfect for stuff that needs to be like slow cooked or anything like that. Chuck roast, pot roast, all that stuff is really good. And I've done ribs in there as well. A Mexican soup. Yeah, see, it probably does taste good.
Yeah.
And I
just realized that we got a dry rub sent from a colleague in Hawaii. And you think of, something coming from Hawaii, I just think of sugar because it's, they put sugar in everything. This dry rub has like paprika and pepper and garlic and salt, and it has really big crystals of salt that said Hawaiian sea salt, and there's no sugar in it. I'm going, I cannot believe you just got me this perfect dry rub. So I'm looking forward to using it.
Wow, dry rub is a nice gift.
Yeah.
It really is. I would love somebody to send me a really nice dry rub. My address is I wanted to share what Marilee did for her celebration.
Yes.
She went to Handel's Messiah sing-along as a treat. She so enjoyed it, and it had a full orchestra.
Ooh, wow. I thought that was really cool.
What a
orchestra live is like one of the best things you can experience.
Yeah. So what a wonderful way to just celebrate, right? Just
yes.
Go to a sing-along.
Very good.
I'm still
Boy,
looking for some hearts and thumbs up. You guys, come
yeah.
on. Poke those buttons, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. And Marcia is here with us from Texas. I guess
I
Marcia is
also
that's Central
wanted,
Time, so maybe you are close to evening.
yeah, I also wanted to bring up a question that was mentioned in chat. Dana said, "I'm from Jacksonville, Alabama. Does anybody else have problems being really cold?" And then let's see, Mary Lee responded and said that she's always been cold intolerant, always the coldest person in the room. My mom was the same way. I also have hypothyroidism. So I would guess, because there have been a couple studies showing there's like a 30%-ish prevalence of hypothyroidism with lipedema.
Yes.
And cold intolerance is one of those signs, like being really cold, cold extremities,
Yes.
stuff like that. I've always been the opposite, and I don't have hypothyroidism. But even as like a baby, I'd be kicking off the covers, refusing to wear coats or jackets, and it's still the same now. The only difference I would say though is that my thighs, which are impacted a lot by lipedema, are very cold intolerant. So
Yes.
if I'm out like walking, I have to have 3 layers on my legs specifically
Yes.
because my thighs are very prone to chilblains.
Yes.
So not quite frostbite, but like a level below that where there's like redness and inflammation and bruising. And it's specifically my thighs. My calves are fine. Everywhere else is fine. It's just there, which is very annoying.
But I think the lesson to us all that, you know, because lipedema has a high prevalence of hypothyroidism, which of cold is a symptom. If you have not been diagnosed with that, make sure you check with your doctor and that they will check to see if you have hypothyroidism and treat it for you. And they cannot check it for just by looking at your TSH. They need to do a full panel and look at T3, reverse T3 and T4 along with TSH. Also keep in mind too that there's a condition in which when you've been tremendously ill, your body sometimes will send you into what should be a temporary low thyroid to make you slow down and make you rest, because you get tremendous fatigue when your thyroid is low. And that can help you heal because you are resting while you're so tired. But it can become pathological very easily that once you do heal from whatever that trauma or surgery or everything was, your thyroid should go back to behaving normally. And some people get stuck in that low thyroid. So if you are getting those symptoms of being tremendously fatigued, cold, maybe swollen hands and feet, losing your hair, very dry skin, things like that, go to your doctor and check to see if you have a more chronic form of hypothyroidism that needs to be treated.
Yeah, I'll mention one more use case where this may be popping up, where you may start seeing hypothyroid symptoms, which is starvation hypothyroid.
Yes.
And that one, it doesn't necessarily mean you're literally starving. It could be that calorie restriction or any energy restriction or whatever has been so prolonged and more than your body can handle that it's used your thyroid to tell you, like, all right, we're going to reduce how much energy we spend. And that means reduced heart rate, reduced temperature, more prone to weight gain, things like that. And that I tend to see more often in people with long diet histories. And again, it just goes back to see if you can talk to your doctor and get that more advanced testing and see if there is hypothyroidism present. And that's typically what I hear from like Amy Berger as well. Like, we're not just looking at the markers, we're looking at, do you have symptoms that are bothering you? Because if you do, then working with your doctor would be preferred.
So is that called famine response?
Yes.
Yeah, it's basically that, where your body is really, really good. It's not a closed system, so it's not just like you input a certain amount, it does its own thing. It'll react to what you're doing. So for people with prolonged histories, and there have been studies on this as well, like their metabolism can decrease. And then it's just a case of like determining where the cause of the hyperthyroidism is coming from,
Mhm.
hopefully treating it to manage symptoms. And there's also like autoimmune hypothyroidism too. So there's
Yes.
a wide range, but it
Yes.
comes down to symptoms and yeah.
And
Mhm.
and I know that so many of us, because we've dealt with lipedema and have considered ourselves obese, and we've been, I mean, so many of us have been dieting since puberty,
Mm-hmm.
because that's when our bodies started growing and we couldn't, at least I have, 11 years old, my mom has me on a diet because I was I wasn't growing up anymore. I was growing out. And she thought, uh-oh, I got to get her under control. Something
Mhm.
like that. Um, and so I think, wow, yeah, I think I need to have somebody take a look at me.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so we got to start wrapping this up because we've already come up to 30 minutes chatting with all of you and being here with all of you. But I think what all of us would like to suggest to any of you that are watching this, either as a replay or watching this live, is take the next week and give yourself some love. Give yourself some those little celebrations because you are doing some good in the world. You're doing some good for yourself. So celebrate that. And it could be, you could celebrate it with others or just celebrate by yourself, but do something for yourself to have some little celebration for the next week. And we'd love for you to be here with us again next week and tell us what that was.